Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ministry of Wrestling with the TNA guy, me, Double V, the Viceroy of Verisimilitude, Nico Luro, here to talk to you about my favorite wrestling promotion out there, Total Non-Stop Action, TNA. And we've got an amazing pay-per-view to predict tonight, TNA Against All Odds, airing tonight, Friday, June 14th. Well, tomorrow morning if you're in the UK, very early 1 a.m. type thing. But it's fine. The life we live as UK wrestling fans. Here's the deal. Over the course of the last few weeks, I have been going through all of TNA Impact, bringing you guys reviews, which if you're not getting, you should be subscribed to the channel and ticking the notification bell so you get notified whenever the TNA Impact reviews go up and you can stay on top of storylines that I'm going to be discussing that way. But this pay-per-view really has got a bit of everything. I think we're going to have some storylines terminate. We're going to have some storylines continue to build. We're going to have new storylines created. We've got some technical wrestling, some goofy wrestling. This is just going to be great, man. Top to bottom, I've got nothing but high hopes for this pay-per-view. And can I take a moment to shout out TNA? Because you know what TNA are doing right that the other promotions aren't? They're not trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to length of the booking of their pay-per-views. There are some wrestling companies out there, no need to mention names, who think it's okay to add 5 matches at the last minute and create a 10 to 14 pay-per-view card. You know who I'm talking about. This is too long. Equally, there are some wrestling companies out there who think while doing a big world and European tour that it is okay to give us 4 or 5 matches on what is essentially a 3.5 hour to 4 hour card. Spoiler alert, bigger and longer doesn't equal better. Don't make matches long for the sake of making matches long, which is what one of the other companies have been doing. You know who I'm talking about. With TNA, classic model, 7 match pay-per-view card, keep it simple, some matches will be longer than others, and I am all here for it. Don't reinvent the wheel. So massive thank you to TNA for just keeping it simple and keeping the booking and the flow of the pay-per-views traditional for the better. Muchas gracias. Thank you for that. So with all that said, praise be aside, let's actually get into this because I believe in Joe Hendry, which is the perfect way to start off this pay-per-view. Look, all the love in the world to King Frankie, one of the greats of his generation, an absolute ring general, Mr. Reliable, hasn't been on the biggest winning streak as of late. Joe Hendry, who I called my shot recently, I think he's going to be the guy who beats Moose for the title. TNA need to capitalize on his heat. The question is, how long can they keep the heat and crowd pleasing going for? Do they capitalize on it now at the upcoming pay-per-view? In a few months' time, next year? That remains to be seen. But I've called my shot. I think Joe Hendry will be the one to beat Moose. And what an amazing story that would be. And so, of course, with all the fan hype behind Joe Hendry, he's starting the pay-per-view, and he is going to win this match. It's going to be great, but this is a crowd-pleasing moment. Joe Hendry's going to take this. And up next, who have we got? This is going to be a bangerang. 2 friends of the channel, Josh Alexander and Eric Young, against, the friends of the channel, the ABC. Bullet Club's own Chris Bay and Ace Austin. We have permission to throw this up. Thank you, boys. We appreciate you and we continue to support you. However, what I will also continue to do is call the fact that I think the ABC are going to be splitting up at some point this year. As much as that breaks my heart, I do think that is on the cards. Josh Alexander and EY have always been amazing together. Absolutely amazing together. So I am incredibly confident that this is going to continue to feed into the ABC's slow burn splitting. I've called it too early previously. I've been like, this is where they're splitting. I'm not going to try call when, but I'm going to continue to say there are going to be seeds planted that are going to lead to the ABC's split up. And this will just be another one. Josh Alexander, Eric Young, fan favorites, legends of TNA, living legends of TNA, EY locker room leader. There's nothing to be gained here from having the ABC win. Equally, there's nothing really to be gained here than having EY and Josh Alexander win, other than being consistent with what's previously been booked. But there is a lot to be gained from the ABC losing, which will continue to feed to that story. So, with all that said and done, let's move on to the next match, which is Yeah, this is an interesting one. Mike Santana and Steve Macklin versus the Rascals. So they've made it very clear. This is a one-off for Mike Santana. He's moved away from the tag team wrestling stuff. Um, there's two ways they could play this, because they could have the Rascals win this, and actually Mike Santana and then Steve Macklin. Do you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to pick. The Rascals are going to win this one. It's going to be a shock for Mike Santana to lose on his pay-per-view return, but I think they need to set him up with a program there. So Mike Santana and Steve Macklin beat the Rascals in a one-off. So what? However, the Rascals beat Mike Santana and Steve Macklin in a one-off after Mike Santana said that he didn't want to be in tag team wrestling and therefore now has a beef with Steve Macklin. Now we have a program. So that's the way I'm going to go with that one. And up next, who do we have? We have got, yeah, well, rumors are a swelling with this one. Jordynne Grace against a mystery opponent in an open challenge. So obviously, just recently, Jordynne Grace appeared on NXT, losing to Roxanne Perez on NXT Battleground. There's a very good relationship at the moment between TNA and the Fed. So the dream scenario would be that the agreement they made is that we'll come on your show and make your champ look big, and then you return the favor. It'd be very cool to see Roxanne Perez show up on Against All Odds and actually, lose to Jordynne Grace, return the favor. Maybe Mercedes Moné shows up and we do this Mercedes the belt collector thing, which has been rumored for a long time. I wouldn't say no to that. If it's not one of those two, I genuinely don't know. Maybe someone like a Danny Luna. Maybe we fast track the Ash by Elegance storyline. If it is Ash by Elegance, she's winning. But if it's not Ash by Elegance, no matter what, Jordynne Grace, I think, is going to retain here. That would be my 2 cents. Who have we got next? So up next, we have got... see, this is interesting now. We have got the Nemeth brothers, Nick and Ryan Nemeth, and they will be taking on the System's Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. Now, of course, to all good things an end, the System have been the best faction in all of wrestling for me this year. This isn't going to be, spoiler for my preview later, for my prediction later, this isn't going to be, I think, the night where everything falls apart. But I did say last week, I think TNA have the opportunity here of doing something so feel good in giving the Nemeth brothers the victory. Like, brother combinations winning gold together is always a thing of absolute beauty. And considering the sad, mistreatment of one Dolph Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth, over the course of the last decade, and he should have been a much bigger star than he was over in the Fed, but it is what it is. I would love to see him hold tag gold with his brother, just on a purely emotional front. I think that would be a thing of absolute beauty. So I'm thinking with my heart on this one. I am going to go with the Nemeth brothers. We'll see if I'm right about that. Up next, we have got Mustafa Ali versus Trent Seven. We love Trent Seven here at the Ministry of Wrestling. We met Trent at Rev Pro in the UK, and he's genuinely a lovely, lovely man. Seen him wrestle twice now in the UK live. Once against Volador Jr. when he was in his El Bigote Guerrero character. That's the first time we met him. And then in this follow-up with Shingo Takagi. And I want nothing but the best for Trent Seven. Trent ain't doing this one, man. This is going to be... This could quietly steal match of the night because these two have got such varying styles, and that could lend itself to being super entertaining when they mesh together. But yeah, man, wrestling rules on the very basis that Trent Seven isn't going to win this title for storytelling reasons, because they've still got more to do with Ali. He needs to become more hated before he falls. Yeah, on that basis, Ali is unfortunately winning this one. I say unfortunately on the basis that I love Trent. Ali's awesome, although I want to see more of him in TNA. Not in terms of how much I see him on screen, but in terms of what he does in the ring. Yeah, the shtick's just a little bit dry for me, so I would like to see Ali elevate his game a bit. And so we finish up with the main event, Moose versus Matt Hardy for the TNA World Championship. Now, listen, they could go a number of ways with this. As of today, Friday the 14th of June, one Jeff Hardy is officially a free agent again, having not renewed with AEW. So there's something to be said about Jeff coming into TNA and helping his brother and helping Matt become a world champion, which he never was in the Fed. That would be interesting. There could be something to say about Jeff Hardy coming in and starting a rivalry with his brother. There could also be something to say about Jeff Hardy not appearing at all, Matt Hardy winning, and yet again, equally, there could be something to say about Jeff Hardy not turning up at all and Moose destroying Matt Hardy, which, by the way, is the option I'm going for. Dream scenario, romantic scenario, Jeff Hardy turns up, helps Matt win the gold. And then you do a Matt Hardy versus Joe Hendry promotion for the next few months in the build-up to that match. Nah, life isn't so beautiful, I'm afraid. Yeah, Moose is retaining this, despite the fact that I think that other members of the system might drop gold. Well, Brian and Eddie will, in my opinion. But yeah, Moose is retaining this. He's going to continue doing this monster run. When Joe Hendry becomes champ, which is the shot I keep calling, he needs to have the big guy to knock off. Joe Hendry beating Moose, for me, has more power than Joe Hendry meeting Matt, and I'm a big Matt Hardy guy. But yeah, Moose is going to retain this. It will end with the system standing tall once again. Maybe not covered in as much gold. Maybe I'm wrong on that count too. Maybe this system break everyone's hearts and Nick Nemeth continues to not be able to win gold with his brother in TNA. We shall see. But those are my predictions for TNA Against All Odds. I'm hyped for this pay-per-view, man. I genuinely can't wait to see it. And yeah, look, let's just sit back, relax, and get ready for this. Then there's more great wrestling in the UK and in Scotland and in London. There's so much good wrestling on this weekend, but of all of them, this is the one that I'm most excited for. If you guys like TNA, be sure you like the video, and if you like what this guy's been feeding you for the last 15 minutes or so, then please do consider subscribing to the channel so you can see whenever a new TNA non-stop, total non-stop action wrestling video goes up. Basically, it's every Friday. That's what I aim for. But until then, I'm Double V, the Viceroy of Verisimilitude, Nico Liro, and I will see you guys very soon right here on the Ministry of Wrestling. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye for now.